Hello, everybody. Hey, this is Rich, and today's topic of what we're going to discuss is what to do when you don't feel like you're good enough. So, in the world today, there's a lot of this feeling going on about, am I good enough? How do I know? Have I done enough? And I think a lot of times we're asking the wrong question or even assuming that the wrong part is just like, well, what happens if you are good enough and you always were? And so that's what I want to discuss with you today about that, and then give you some tips that will help you get further in this struggle or this challenge so that you can go and live and feel good about yourself and then continue to move forward based on real criteria that will help you out. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the times I do remember that I was looking in the mirror at myself and I was like, is this good enough? All of the accomplishments and the degrees that I had done and the people that I help. What do I need? I mean, do I need this type of car? Do I need this type of house? Do I need to dress this certain way? Do I need to look this certain way? And a lot of it were criteria and standards that other people set and that I might have bought into. It was just like, well, at what point am I going to be okay with just where I'm at? And because I had never asked that question, I never really had an answer. I never had a criteria to say, okay, this is the finish line. So I realized, to be better, I had to do better. And that required me to do, some self-searching. So from that day on, I made the determination, what happens if I'm enough now? What if I'm perfect right now? And I even made a little mantra off of that. It was like, I'm great just the way that I am, and I'm constantly getting better. So when I was able to accept that and when I was able to do that, a lot of the angst went away. Again, holding yourself accountable to this is probably one of the hardest parts, but it was very important. So I made sure to do that. So to copy the model that I had went through and what I had done, I wanted to give you 3 steps that will help you out, that will help you be better and help you do better. So we'll go ahead and start with that. So one is that when it comes to yourself, you have to challenge the lies. Your mind, your emotions will oftentimes tell you lies. It'll look for things to try to validate it, that it might compare you with others. It may try to compare you with your dream future self. That's a type of motivation, negative more than anything, which could work for some, but I find that in the bigger picture, it doesn't work for most. It's not a one size fits all. So what I would say is challenge the lies. Understand that these are lies, that you are good enough already, great enough as you are, and that you are constantly getting better. And that anything other than that, question it, challenge it, identify how much truth is in it. But again, challenge the lies, challenge the voice inside your head or the voices of others if they have something to say. Any other model, it does seem to kind of set you back, and that's just not going to help you. So working with something that's going to be in your best favor seems to work for the best. The second tip is focus on your progress. When you're thinking about your progress, you think about, well, how far did you come? How far have you been from wherever it is that you started? And you can celebrate the victories, celebrate the progresses, celebrate the benchmarks. Sometimes I have people say, well, Rich, I didn't really go that far, or I didn't really do that much. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, is your scale realistic? And seriously ask yourself that. And if the answer is still, well, Rich, I really didn't do that much, or I haven't done much at all, that could be a very good motivator to go ahead and push yourself and to get started, to set things in order so that you can start to accomplish that. But then even that counts as progress in your favor. So being able to understand that and being able to see that in the moment before you get sucked too far down in the negativity vortex, questioning the question, questioning the voice, questioning the message, internal and external, and that could help you out a lot. A third thing what I would say that could possibly help is focus on the way that you're thinking. Like, am I thinking about the progress, or am I focusing on being a perfectionist? Because perfectionism, it's impossible for the most part. If you break the word apart, to perfect means to constantly get better. But there's no part of that means it's an end destination. So by you constantly trying to get better and working on that, then technically you are meeting the definition of perfect, and you could see it however you wish to see it. You have to have semi-realistic standards, goals, outlooks. And so that's something that I think would help you out a lot. When I deal with clients and I work with them, I can hear that they have some really pie in the sky dreams that that just they're really hard on themselves. And there's nothing wrong with stretching and growing in a challenge, but it's like you can't jump across the Grand Canyon on your first leap. You gotta break it up into smaller steps and to celebrate those steps and to acknowledge those steps in your own favor. So that's something that I think would help out. So today, the task and the goal for yourself is to identify these at least in just one area. And then to celebrate yourself. And comments below, you could celebrate a victory that maybe you haven't acknowledged yet or haven't given yourself credit for. And you can read other people's comments too to see how common this is in other people, also yourself, and what you'd like to do about it now that you have the awareness. So I look forward to seeing your comments. I look forward to the change that you're going to provide yourself and in your life and to be better by doing better. If you like this message, it resonated with you, then click subscribe and feel free to send a message, and I look forward to hearing from you. Have a good day.